Hello and welcome to The Pulse, the show where we talk about issues concerning us. That's you, me, and the society at large. I'm Tina Jha. Smartphones today have become a necessity in everybody's life. According to a study, an average person spends around 15 to 18 hours on their mobile phones, be it playing games, checking into social media, or just browsing the internet. With increasing mobile coverage and cheaper data, more and more people now have access to the internet. And with the drastic increase in the number of people online, cyber crimes have also increased exponentially. According to the National Crime Records Bureau, in 2014, 9,622 cases regarding cyber crimes were lodged. The figure significantly increased in the year 2015, reaching 11,582. The next year saw another rise with 12,317 cases, and as per the latest data available, which is for the year 2017, more than 21,000 cases of cybercrimes were recorded in India, a significant number against the senior citizens. Every now and then we hear and also read in newspapers about online frauds, or I should term it as digital robberies committed against our elderly, duping them of their hard-earned money. Even within our social circle, there's hardly any of us who hasn't heard of an older person getting a phone call asking for OTPs and then finding out that they have been robbed of huge amounts of money. A challenge before senior citizens is knowing of ways to avoid online fraud. Although people of all ages are at risk, so are you and me. Statistics show that when it comes to online safety, seniors are more vulnerable. So on this edition of The Pulse, we discuss the various types of online scams against the elderly, reasons that make them easy targets, how they can be made aware on safeguarding their valuables, savings and online information. A distinguished panel of guests is joining us on the show today, so let me introduce them to you. We have with us Mr. Ravindra Gupta, Chief Manager, State Bank of India. Next to him is Mr. Jitin Jain, he's a cyber analyst. Mr. Aditya Gautam, he's ACP Cybercrime Delhi Police. And Anupama Datta, Head Advocacy, HelpAge India. I welcome all of you on the program. And we're also being joined on Skype from Mumbai by Mr. Ashok Nag. He's former advisor, Reserve Bank of India. Welcome on this edition of The Pulse, Mr. Nag. And in addition, we also have in the audience a group of elderly who will put forth their experiences and views on online fraud. And a majority of these senior citizens belong to the Senior Citizens Council of India based in Delhi. I welcome all of you on the program as well. So before I go to the panelists and help understand the precautions that they must take against online fraud, let's first understand the types of online scams which the senior citizens are facing on a daily basis. So in the audience, we have some people who've unfortunately been, subjects of online fraud. They've been scammed, duped of their life savings, and they will share their ordeal with us on the program. So let me begin with you, Mr. Bhatia.
Yes. I am VP Bhatia, Vice President of Senior Citizen Forum, Triveni Sheikh Sarai. We are having 300 members. On 14th of last month, I got a telephone call for updating my KYC. Immediately, I opened my phone. I saw immediately 85,000 rupees was deducted from my saving bank account through debit card. I was asked to open an app. Unfortunately, I opened an app from going to the Apple Store. That there's one ID number came. He took that ID number, and after that, I have not shared any OTP or CVV number. Immediately, I approached the helpline. They closed my debit card, both of Vijaya Bank and PNB card. I made a complaint to the police station. And then I went to cybercab. After that, I went to the Paytm office. Then they shared with me that this is your money has been transferred by opening an Paytm bank account. I told them that I have never opened any account in Paytm bank. How is money have been transferred? We don't know this thing.
Hi, my name is Rajiv Bhalla. Various calls have come, whether from ICI Prudential or from banks and Paytms and all those things. But time and again, I've had enough precautions taken, so I saved myself from getting looted. Ultimately, I opened one app, Club Factory app, and I ordered something. I returned the item because it was not up to this mark. So I got a refund. There was an option of taking the refund into my Paytm account or into my bank account. So I went into the Paytm account and I got a message. Not having read the message, I entered the OTP which I received, and in the back hindsight, I understand that they had sent a message stating that please change my number. So when I put up the OTP, my number got changed with that from my mobile number to that other person's number. Then when I pressed again, another OTP came, but then thereafter I never got the money back from them.
Obviously, there are unique ways that the fraudsters
There are
come
unique
up
ways.
with.
I mean, I could never imagine.
आप भी कुछ कहना चाह रहे थे?
पेटीएम से कि आपके पेटीएम बंद कर दिया जाएगा, तो मेरे बेटे ने फ़ोन उठाया तो उससे 1 घंटे बात करी, उससे फ़ोन नंबर वगैरह पूछे, अकाउंट नंबर पता नहीं क्या क्या पूछा, तो पेटीएम में से पैसे गायब कर दिए। 5,000 रुपये उसमें से गायब किए, फिर बैंक से जो बाकी पैसे बचे थे वो बैंक से सारे पैसे गायब कर दिए, सिर्फ 530 रुपये छोड़े।
ठीक है, okay. Mr. Jitin Jain, we've heard 3 instances, 3 different kinds of stories, app-based, but obviously to do with online. What is the modus operandi of this trending cyber fraud that we are seeing? It's increasing day by day across the country.
You see, at the pace which digitalization is happening in India, the way the government has been promoting e-banking and the online transactions, the challenge is that we are being too fast in digitalizing our economy and public services. And the pace at which digital literacy is being taught to citizens, digital safety is being taught to citizens, is not, at par with the pace of digitalization. That is why a lot of people in this country, we have got 60 crore mobile phone, smartphone users in the world, and out of them 40 crores are the ones who are they are logging on the internet for the first time in their lives. So they are the ones who are in the age bracket of 40 to 70. They may be very well educated, but they do not understand the world of cyber security, and these are the people who fall for this Nigerian scams, Aadhaar linking frauds, OTP frauds, and because the majority of victims are in the tune of 5,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees, 60,000 rupees, they are not losing billions of dollars. Government is not paying much heed to it. However, it is not right to criticize the government and the police, because you have to understand they also come from the same society as we are in. There is a lack of manpower. And you see what Reserve Bank has done. A lot of credit card frauds were happening. You would swipe your credit card on a petrol pump and they will copy your card and the fraudulent transaction was happened. So we are the only country in the world where for any credit card transaction, OTP is mandatory. If somebody steals a credit card, he cannot do a transaction without OTP.
True.
That solved a problem maybe for a year and a half. Now these conmans have discovered a new way. So 90% of the frauds which are happening today are OTP frauds. They'll give you a call, sir, that RBI has made Aadhaar linking mandatory. अगर आप नहीं करेंगे तो आपके सारे बैंक अकाउंट बंद हो जाएंगे। आपको एक OTP आएगा, that OTP might be of your Amazon money or Paytm money, या आपको बोला जाएगा कि सर are you at home? You have got an Amazon parcel, and then you might say कि अभी मैं तो घर पे नहीं हूँ। Then you say कि सर should we deliver it to your wife? पर उसके लिए आपको एक OTP कंफर्म करना पड़ेगा। That OTP might be of your Paytm link or bank link, और आपका अकाउंट खाली हो जाता है। And the poor people are left helpless because they are not the ones who can go to RBI, Lokpal. They cannot file petition in the banking tribunals or consumer forums. And these private companies are having a free run. So my suggestion is that we need to immediately fix the KYC systems of all Paytm or online wallets and mobile numbers. We have a 24 hours process of doing a KYC. Despite of that, we are seeing that thousands of people are able to buy these mobile numbers on a fraudulent KYC. People are able to open fraudulent bank accounts. See, if I have to open a bank account, बिना पूरे कागज के सही बंदे का भी अकाउंट नहीं खोल रहे हैं. And these people are not only able to open accounts, they are able to do transactions for months and months. Third is the problem of this online banking, Paytm wallets, Airtel money. ये 1-1 लाख रुपए तक का आप ऑनलाइन बस बैठे बैठे खोल सकते हैं. So we have to ensure that government has to ensure that these 3 sectors, mobile, wallets and banks, they have to be interlinked in real time. So if one mobile number does any fraud with anyone, you should be immediately able to report that number on a helpline. या फिर बैंक अकाउंट नंबर. अभी क्या, जब तक इन्वेस्टिगेशन नहीं होगा तब तक अकाउंट को ब्लॉक नहीं करते. व्हाट यू नीड टू डू इज द मोमेंट अ बैंक अकाउंट इज रिपोर्टेड, इट शुड बी सस्पेंडेड, pending the KYC verification of that guy. It has to be reverse. कि वो आप अभी के जब क्राइम प्रूव होगा तब आप उसका अकाउंट बंद करते हैं, आपका पैसा आता है. अगर इन्होंने रिपोर्ट किया कि साहब मेरे 70,000 रुपए चले गए, आई एम श्योर इवन SHO लेवल ऑफिसर शुड हैव द पावर टू इमीडिएटली रिपोर्ट दैट अकाउंट एंड गेट इट सस्पेंडेड और पुट इन द सस्पेंडेड एनिमेशन फॉर द टाइम बिंग टिल द टाइम द फिजिकल KYC इज कंप्लीटेड. तो क्या होगा, सबसे बड़ी समस्या है कि पैसा जाने से ज्यादा डर, वो पैसा कहीं लुट जाएगा वापस नहीं आएगा, उसका डर ज्यादा है. So that process we have to put in India, that probably if you are not able to block something, we should be able to temporarily suspend so that दोनों का settlement हो जाए. So ये सबसे बड़ा challenge है. और उसके लिए अगर हम खाली पुलिस को भी blame करेंगे, देखिए अगर आज आप बैंक के पास जाएंगे, बैंक आपको एक पैसा नहीं देगा. क्यों? बैंक बोलेगा साहब हो सकता है आपके साथ फ्रॉड हो गया और OTP सिर्फ और सिर्फ आपके पास आया था. अगर आपने किसी और को दिया तो ये आपकी गलती है. ATM का पासवर्ड अगर आपने किसी को दिया तो ये आपकी गलती है. सो गलती हमारी भी है. वी लैक अवेयरनेस, सरकार की भी है, हमारी एज अ सोसाइटी की भी है. सो वी हैव टू इंश्योर दैट ऑल ऑफ अस learn from our children. You can learn from your grandchildren. Never fall for scams. No, there is no free lunch in life. 50,000 की लॉटरी लगी, 1 लाख का मैसेज आया. Don't fall for such scams.
Mr. Ravindra Gupta, what he says, of course, is very important because once the customer gives away the OTP, the liability is completely his or hers. But what about the pre-OTP stage? What about the personal details? Where do these conmen get your personal details, name, account number, everything? So why should the conmen reach the OTP stage where you're only giving out the OTP and your money is robbed? What is the bank's accountability?
Basically, see, in case of KYC, all the KYC is being done at the branches only.
Okay.
Bank never asks for the completion of the KYC over the telephone or over the website or over the this WhatsApp, etc., etc. The person has to reach to the bank branch for completion of the KYC because he has to provide his photograph, his credential, etc., etc. In your case, the person asks you about the KYC completion over the phone. It is not bank's job. Bank and Reserve Bank of India always says that never share your account number, your PIN number, your account details with anybody because bank never asks these things over the telephone, over the mobile phone, etc., etc. Number one. And bank sites are, no doubt, those are robust and there is no such leakage. But in case of certain people preserve their PIN numbers, their account details, etc., and the emails or the WhatsApp in certain sites. The fraudsters and the criminals basically picked up that information from the information you have stored somewhere else. From the bank sites, it's very difficult to fetch any information link going to the bank site.
This is where they're using apps.
Yeah.
But at times when you're using the bank's app, or maybe, the bank's site is hacked or something of that sort, or maybe your card is schemed, somebody has, kind of duplicated your card. In such instances as well, there is only the OTP that's required. All other details are already available with that person.
Exactly. See, basically the detail of the mobile number is linked with your account. Fraudsters at certain point of time, basically he get the access to linking the fraudster's mobile number to the account.
Okay.
Through various means in that way. Then the OTP comes on the fraudster's mobile number. So such kinds of transaction, online transaction or maybe the POS transaction, etc., those are happening because he is getting the information. In that case, the customer always keep a track that his mobile number is the same number which is in his account.
Okay.
Number one. That is a more important thing. And OTP sharing, password sharing, PIN sharing, this is the most important thing that never need to be shared with anybody.
Because by the time they realize that already, their money is taken away. Mr. Aditya Gautam, all of us have been talking about, and we know that senior citizens are extremely vulnerable. They are more trusting, and that's why they don't realize who's in the other end, and they are duped of their money. Right. In such cases, when dealing with cyber fraud cases against the elderly, what are the steps that the Delhi police is taking?
Ma'am, recently we have launched a portal that was actually launched by MHA, Ministry of Home Affairs, and it is available to everyone. Any person can log on to that portal and file their complaint regarding whatever cyber crime has happened with them, and we take immediate action against them. This portal is accessible throughout India. It's called www.cybercrime.gov.in.
What are the kind of challenges that the cybercrime cell is facing, Mr. Gautam?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a shortage of manpower, or is there a shortage of trained professional to deal with such cases?
Ma'am, there isn't a shortage of manpower or trained professionals as such, but there are certain constraints that we have to deal with. I was just going to talk about it. For example, cybercrime is something that can happen with a person who is in Delhi, and the person who is doing that crime, the accused, can be sitting anywhere.
True.
In fact, there can be a big, huge network of people operating from 4 different parts of the country. So it's not that easy, it's not that convenient to track down and arrest all the accused, within a matter of hours or days. It is a long and you have to devote considerable amount of time. So the time constraints, sir, first of all, I would like to apologize to you. अगर आपको ये लगता है कि आपके ग्रीवांसेस अभी तक एड्रेस नहीं हुए, however, I assure you, आपकी कंप्लेंट जिसके पास भी है, जो भी आईओ हैं, I'm sure they are working on it and will do our best to get you your money back, to arrest the accused who have cheated you of your 85,000 rupees.
Digital inclusion for the elderly is extremely important because it not just empowers them but also makes them feel in tune with the changing times. So it's important that they're part of this digital world. But at the same time, when they hear of such online fraud stories, it sort of, it instills a sense of fear in them. And with what Mr. Bhatia has been pointing out, his experience hasn't been that great. In such situations, how do you help them understand about the positives of technology?
See, it's a challenging task because just like Jatin was saying that we have introduced this technology at a very rapid pace and we have not taken the back-end precautions. Now, when I look at these 3 cases that were referred to in the discussion, one is a clear-cut case of clear fraud. A person has lost his money. And just pay attention to how he was treated. How is he treated by the bank? Bank says go to cybercrime. Cybercrime says go to SHO. SHO says goes to somebody else. What is the response he is getting? Are we human beings? Isn't it bank's responsibility to, you just are putting the onus on the person who is a victim. It just happens in case of women. Why do you go out at night? You will of course get attacked. What kind of logic is that? You get awareness, you take precautions, we will not do anything. Now that's not a fair argument, especially for the vulnerable segments of society. The other case that the lady was referring to, a call comes, a child picks up the phone and unknowingly gives all the details. Because probably for the grandmother, the grandchild is actually doing all her transactions.
True.
So then the bank is aware of it, the police is aware of it, the Home Ministry is probably aware of it, the Finance Ministry is aware of it. But you are just pushing the onus on these poor victims. And that's what I have a problem with. And here I am very happy that you have got both ends of the spectrum. You have a very highly educated middle class person and you have the other end of the spectrum as well, and a woman as well. It happened in our office, one of the ex-employee's wife got conned like that. She lost all her money from her Jan Dhan account because somebody gave a call to call the numbers, to call whatever else and continue to do what the fellow was telling her to do. She lost 40,000 rupees.
Exactly, and if you come to these cases, there will be multiple in our social circle.
This is a lady, and then what is the husband's response? Oh, good, you lost all your money. I'm not going with you to the police station to lodge a complaint. Good, you lost your money. Poor lady, where does she go? So the system has to be sensitive to these people and their vulnerabilities while, just imagine this person lost his money, hard-earned money, and what is the response he's getting? I'm too busy to look into your case because it's not $1 million case. Now for him, it's more than $1 million. His 40,000 is worth more than $1 million to him.
The accountability has to be at one stop. That's
no,
what
it has to, and banks have to take onus. They have to say that, okay, supposing you are a vulnerable customer, we will have this another check for you. Somebody wants your OTP, it should be on 2 phone numbers. Unless your son approves it, we are not going to honor the transaction. Unless you do that, you are just shunning your responsibility, pushing it on these people, and then saying, sorry, you are not aware.
Okay.
I told you
there is a difference.
Okay, Mr. Gupta, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. We're also being joined on Skype by Mr. Ashok Nag. He is former advisor RBI. He'll be able to answer it better. Mr. Nag, what Anupma Datta pointed out is that there should be something like a split OTP. Maybe half of it goes on one phone number and the second half on the other number, and maybe this could reduce such cases of online fraud. What do you think? Is it a wise idea? Will it work? Will it help bring down such cases?
See, there are two aspects to this, two sides to this. One is that if you go on increasing this kind of steps, then you are also people who wants to do these transactions, they will face that a lot of hurdles. There will be complaint from that point of view. So there is a kind of a trade-off between these things, and I think we need to be careful about the trade-off. That point is that one question that was one particular person who was been affected, I was listening to that how Paytm wallet and opened a bank account, because he has not opened the bank account. The point is what is happening, this is a lesson for RBI, that when you have a digital opening of a bank account without physical presence in a branch, okay, that means you are not giving your KYC things to a branch official physically, and you are allowing a branch to open digital account. What has happened in this case, I can understand that why how the bank account was opened, because his wallet was compromised. So details of the wallets are available to the fraudster, and using those kind of a KYC details, he could open a digital bank account. In fact, if you know that the Paytm, I know that they keep people on the, I have seen in the railway stations, there are people, metro stations, they are waiting for that KYC. How can they do KYC? 5, 6 people, young people are just having some a card saying that do your KYC here. That this kind of a KYC is a meaningless KYC. Okay, so I think RBI has to come out very careful kind of a instruction that when you are allowing a digital kind of opening of account, what is the kind of a control you are having? For example, one control could be you do not allow to open the account immediately. You wait for 2 days, send a kind of a call from the to the registered mobile number and see that has he opened the account? Ask what questions. But what is happening today? You allow immediately opening the account and then transfer the money from the wallet to this. So these are the controls we have to build. After listening to all these things, what kind of, because whatever you do, there will be frauds, because fraudsters are always ahead of you. They
Obviously, no matter how advanced your technologies are, the conmen will always find a way to dupe you of your money. Jitin Jain, in the context of, increasing number of cases to do with Paytm wallets or your e-wallets, UPIs, should there be some kind of regulation for these payment gateways and aggregators?
You see, there are certain, controls in place. Obviously, they are not enough, but the problem is, see, they don't have any liability today. If you lose money with a bank, you can sue them. You can write to RBI, RBI can get your money back. But these, so-called private, especially wallets, are operating out of the, ambit of banking law. So far as Paytm Bank is concerned, obviously you could do it. But the problem, you see, the larger problem is, earlier if you wanted to do a bank fraud or a check fraud, you needed a copy of a check or you needed the bank accounts of a person. Yes. Now, only if you have a mobile number. Because Paytm, WhatsApp payments, Google payments, Amazon Pay, all these things are mobile number linked payments. If you just know the mobile number of the person, you can just transfer in the money. You just put the mobile number, you will get his name, even before transferring money. So they will check whether that person has Paytm or not, then they will give a call. So only mobile number is enough to do a fraud. Second, you see, if you wanted to buy a car or drive a car, you are given a 15-day training. Then you have to pass a test. I think if we are facing the challenge of this magnitude, where law enforcement does not have enough skilled manpower, we have a huge population size. The ratio of police to, and the police has to do the conventional policing also. They can't do the cyber crimes all the time. And the problem of money is that once it is gone, it is very difficult to get the money back. And you can keep fighting. So one good thing may be that before you open a bank account or a Paytm account, you should be made mandatory to watch a 1 hour or 2 hour of awareness video that never share your OTP, what kind of frauds are happening. So once you make up, like इनके साथ अब दोबारा कभी fraud नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि अब इनको समझ में आ गया. मैं बताता हूँ सर, See, जो उन्होंने बताया कि जो Paytms हैं या जो online wallets हैं और online banks हैं, they have a limit of up to 1 lakh, and you don't need to go to a branch. They can do it online just by putting OTPs and stuff. तो जब आपका फोन हैक हुआ या पेटीएम को किया गया तो आपकी ओटीपीज भी ले लिए गए. सेकंड फ्रॉड व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इज दैट बिकॉज पीपल आर बिकमिंग अवेयर कि ओटीपी शेयर नहीं करना है. नाउ दे हैव अ डिफरेंट पैटर्न. आप गूगल सर्च कीजिए, आई वांट टू बुक अ रेड बस और पेटीएम सपोर्ट. they have put the fraudulent numbers with the advertisements. So you end up calling a fraudster, thinking that is a Paytm customer care number or Redbus customer care number, and that person will not ask you for any OTP. He will say, sir, you need to download this particular app, which is a legitimate app, screen sharing app, and then you can book whatever you want. So they will take your OTP and then they will have complete access to your phone. उसके बाद वो ट्रांजैक्शंस वगैरह जो भी करेंगे वो आपसे OTP नहीं पूछेगा, ऑटोमेटिकली आएगा, वो अपने आप रीड करेगा, डिलीट कर देगा, आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा.
मिस्टर आदित्य गौतम,
जस्ट वन लास्ट पॉइंट, हाउएवर, जो सर आपने बात कही ये पेटीएम फ्रॉड जहां पे इन्होंने OTP दिया या जो भी है वो तो इनकी लायबिलिटी बनती है, पर जो क्रेडिट कार्ड फ्रॉड्स हो रहे हैं, जो बंदा जिसने फिजिकल मनी निकाला ATM के अंदर, चाहे उसने OTP कहीं से भी चुराया हो, वो लायबिलिटी बैंक की है, बिकॉज ट्रांजैक्शन मीन्स इट हैज टू बी एन ऑथोराइज्ड ट्रांजैक्शन. इफ अ मनी विड्रॉल हैज हैपेंड, देन बैंक कैन नॉट से कि आप FIR लिखो, आपको इमीडिएटली पैसा रिटर्न करना होगा, इसमें बैंक्स फ्रॉड कर रहे हैं. बिकॉज इफ द पर्सन इज सेइंग दैट मैंने ये पैसा नहीं निकाला, इट इज नॉट ऑन हिम एज पर लॉ टू प्रूव दैट इट वाज या मैंने नहीं निकाला, इट इज फॉर यू टू प्रूव दैट ट्रांजैक्शन वाज ऑथोराइज्ड. सो दिस इज सॉरी बट दिस इज ऑन पार्ट ऑफ बैंक्स बिकॉज दे आर पुअर पीपल. आप इनको खंबे से खंबे तक भगाते हैं बिकॉज ये कंप्लेंट कर नहीं सकते. जिस दिन 50 करोड़ जाता है उस दिन अगले दिन पैसा वापस आता है. मैंने ये भी देखा, मेरा पैसा भी आया.
Banks are owning
there should be
that thing.
there should
The
be,
RBI policy is there. Within 7 days, 6 days, the people are getting money. They
and
have
there
to
should be
immediately
perhaps a
contribute to the
mechanism to
bank.
not just check
This is
return
RBI
their
policy.
money but also be sensitive towards the way you deal with our
RBI is
elderly.
sensitive,
And-
but
and
especially
one
the
more-
private banks I'm
one
talking
more-
about.
one more thing.
Mr. Aditya Gautam, one quick thing before I go to the audience again is what Mr. Jitin Jain pointed out. How is it possible for the cyber criminals to, how do they manage to make their toll-free numbers or their link that they send to people, how do they place it right on top of important search engines like Google? I mean, why is not there any kind of check?
It's actually practically not possible to keep a check on this. The cyber criminals, they use a technique called search engine optimization.
Okay.
And they pay Google for their ads, and that's why when you are looking for a particular service provider, like Jitin just pointed out, Make My Trip or several others, Yatra.com. So we have also experienced that. The first couple of numbers that pop up, they belong to fraudsters. And people, unsuspecting people, they get cheated because they, instead of contacting the authorized representative, they are talking to fraudsters. So, ma'am, the best way, what we feel, Delhi Police and Cybercrime Cell, we understand that the best way to prevent this is to create awareness. And that's why our focus is on awareness 365 days a year. Last year in...
Jitin, even those running these websites aren't aware of these fake pop-ups that are coming up on the screen of the user?
प्रॉब्लम क्या है, जैसे we are all educated people, आप गूगल सर्च कीजिए राज्यसभा टीवी या न्यूज़, तो राज्यसभा टीवी की वेबसाइट से पहले गूगल 3 ऐड ऊपर दिखा देता है. And anybody who has money can pay and get those ads listed on the top. Now जब आप सर्च रिजल्ट आएगा, we are unsuspecting people will click on the first link. The solution may be like in last 1 year, Facebook and Google have made KYC compulsory for political advertisement. अगर आज किसी को political party का ad Facebook के ऊपर देना है, तो आपको अपना पूरा डिटेल KYC करना होगा. That was to prevent the fake news, spread on the fake news to influence elections. Similarly, any ad given out of any entity, especially in India, we could say that a KYC has to be done if you want to give any ad. Like अगर आपको कोई बड़ा पोस्टर खंबा रोड पे लगाना है, पहले अपना KYC कराओ. So that could be one solution, but ultimately आप समझिए, आदित्य is right. जो रेलवे में लिखा होता है, आपके सामान की जिम्मेदारी आपकी खुद की है, आपके पैसे की जिम्मेदारी खुद की है.
Talking about the hacking or the storing of the information while putting your ATM card in the ATM, the information hacked by the other people like this. Now their advancement is to that level that from the ATM, without putting your ATM card, you can get the money.
So that's right, but how many people are aware about
That's
it?
why I'm talking about that is an advancement. Like in State Bank of India, we have a YONO product. You only need one. There is a YONO cash transaction. In your mobile number, simply at home, up to 10,000 rupees, you on the YONO cash in the app, you put 10,000 rupees, 5,000 whatsoever. You can generate your own OTP, number one. Your own virtual OTP, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whatsoever. This is one time. After that, immediately when you click, you get a system generated OTP. Now you have 2 OTP numbers. You go to the ATM, You mark your number you generated and the number generated by the mobile, the app. You put both numbers in the ATM, you will get the money. There is no need of putting the ATM there. And in your case, in the senior citizen case, there is no need of going to the bank yourself if you cannot able. The person who is very close to you, you provide both the two numbers to him up to 10,000 rupees. He can go and get the money. You know, you are aware of all these things.
Okay, in
Who is aware?
that aspect, I agree that
this
you
is-
have advanced
this is
security
re-
systems,
yes, this is reducing
and you are
frauds.
obviously trying to catch up with the changing times. You change those magnetic chip cards, but there is no stop to such fraud, sir. It's just going up by the day. You talked about YONO. I'm sure 90% of people sitting here wouldn't know what YONO is.
See, look,
so
we are publicizing.
So if you've started
You-
something,
you
it's
just
the
a minute.
responsibility
You
of the
go-
bank.
You go to the market, you go to the anything, you see the boards, you see the newspaper, you see the websites, you see the WhatsApp. YONO, what is YONO? Have you ever tried to get it? What is a YONO? YONO is what I explained you.
Okay. It has to be extended
I'm
to all
talking
other
about that. This is one example. There may be advancement like
okay.
this.
Okay, let me go back to the audience.
Granted, we people are disorganized and we don't have a support system, individuals. But what about the criminals? Do they have a syndicate? Are they better organized? Technically, they are very skilled. They seem to be in advance of even the police. Have you found out anything about the criminals?
Ma'am, first of all, I would request you to not think that you don't have a support system. We are your support system and we are always there for you. Every police officer is trying to work for the public 24/7. This I can assure you. Secondly, as far as criminals are concerned, they are not more advanced than us, definitely. We have more resources at our disposal. But when it comes to investigation and detection of crime, ma'am, there are certain constraints that we face. There are time limitations, as I already pointed out. A person in Delhi is being cheated by someone who is probably somewhere in eastern part of the country. So it's not within the range of the state. So we have to. Secondly, it's all technical. It's being done in a very technical way. So there is a procedure that we follow. For example, see, money has a trail. In order to ascertain where the money is finally landing, we have to write to, there will be at least 10 intermediaries. There will be banks, there is going to be Paytm, there are telecom service providers. So we have to write to all of them. We have to get their details, then we have to analyze it. So it's a time consuming process. So eventually we do work out cases, but it takes a little bit of time, not because of anything else, but because that's how it can be done.
And is that why the detection rate here is extremely poor? Because I was reading somewhere which says, of the 327 cases registered from 2017 to 2018, the probe was concluded only in 71. So is this the main reason or there are more to it?
Ma'am, this can be one of the reasons, yes. However, I'm sure the cases that have not been worked out yet, the process is going on. And as I said, it's a time consuming process. In most of the cases that we have seen, these accused, they operate using fake SIM cards. And those SIM cards, the phones, they are destroyed after a particular use. So it's a cumbersome process. They can be tracked, all of them can be tracked, yes, definitely. But it's a cumbersome process, that's why it takes time.
So obviously the challenges are many, but what is being done to, take care of these problems? Are there any solutions that you're coming up with?
Ma'am, as I said, as I pointed out, the best solution is to create awareness among people. And, prevention is better than cure. And my own mother is a senior citizen. I make sure that every morning, 10 to 15 minutes, I share stories with her. There are times when she has gotten calls, such fake calls, and she knew she did not fall prey to it. So this can happen with anyone. However, we need to be aware. Just like, we see in traditional policing, we see police officers doing patrolling, there are pickets. We can't do this for cybercrime. The only way to prevent is to make people at large aware of what is going on, what is the modus operandi. And that's why whenever we solve cyber crime cases, we make sure to publicize it, outline their modus operandi so that people can be made aware.
Okay. Mr. Ashok Nag, you just heard Mr. Aditya Gautam spoke about these multiple challenges that the police faces when it comes to dealing with cyber crimes. Of course, the banks have their own share of problems as well. And we understand that every bank cannot have a foolproof specialized system to deal with cases like these. In that scenario, shouldn't the RBI come up with an effective mechanism wherein all banks operate in one proper way? For example, he spoke of YONO. Shouldn't the other banks also come up with something like this, which makes things easier for everybody, the common people, in particular the elderly of the society?
Yeah, I think that, see, I think I will respond to Mr. Gautam, the police officer. See, if you look at this, cyberspace does not have a jurisdiction area, okay? It is across the country, across the even globe.
Yes.
So we are trying to create a Delhi-based cybercrime or Mumbai-based cybercrime, but that has to be a coordinated effort. Anywhere India happens, I have to find out that how it has happened. It can happen for, as he rightly told, that these kind of things, to detect it is not easy and takes a lot of time.
Yes, because you're
And
not
it
just
costs
dealing
lot of
with your department, it's dealing with multiple agencies across the country and across the globe as well.
Yes, so that means you require a different approach. You cannot take the policing the way you have done, that crime has happened here, I have to report the place where the crime has happened. It is not like that. We have a different approach. Second thing is that in the case of the banks also, for example, many of these complaints which have come today in your program are mostly from the fraud committed on the banking system. Now, this committed banking system, we are talking about KYC. Now, point is that if a KYC is the only mobile-based KYC, that is a danger, because mobile today, what has happened today, that one can even take hold of your mobile fully and get to do anything if they want to do it. Such kind of a system is there. So when you are using your mobile, you have to be very careful. You do not go overboard in using everything. You download everything.
True.
That is one of the major problem of the senior citizen, is that apart from Frankfurt, today only newspaper has come. One senior person, which is 78 years old, lost 1.2 crores of jewelry of his wife, because he befriended one person in a European Union on certain kind of a dating site, and I don't know how he was conned and persuaded to part with that kind of a money. Now he wanted to send more money. Somehow his son came to know about it and prevented him from using that kind of things. Now senior citizens are extremely lonely, or they want to befriend the people who they do not know. They become trusting. You do not trust a person if you meet stranger on your street or in neighborhood, but you immediately start somebody you do not know from where of the globe he is trying to contact you online. This is the problem, is a very important problem, that's trusting people online as if they are online means they are the trustworthy people.
Yes.
That is the message must go through the senior citizen, that please don't trust any message, anything you are getting. For example, the fraud that you have won a lottery, just shared with somebody, that kind of things, the awareness things is very important. And I think that awareness must be the responsibility of the
That's a very
authority.
significant message from Mr. Nag, that with I think people of your age, you trust the person on the other side very easily. So is that kind of an experience that you also share on a daily basis?
See, basically what happened with me, with my father, actually it happened. He got a message for Airtel, from Airtel. And he had to recharge his card, and he thought the message has come from the company. And he immediately clicked that. My son was next to him and he was busy with his studies, and he also didn't pay much heed to it. Because they have been doing it, continuously. And he did it, and there was some number came which he was supposed to put it in that, and immediately 50,000 rupees from my father's account got moved, and we were so shocked that, and we didn't know this. Next day he went to the bank and he got this message. He got to know from his account. He's saying ki passbook mein he's a 89-year-old, and passbook mein main to kuch payment nahi kiya. Then they said, then they checked everything. Then we went to the police station also, but police station people said ki ab iske against hum kaise kar sakte hain, message aaya tha, aapki galti hai, and under what record we should put the crime. So that was very scary. Not even Airtel nowadays, so even insurance companies are asking us, our Max people, I have an insurance with Max people. They have been calling up कि मैम आपके घर में हमें विजिट करना है, आपके पास एक OTP आएगा, अगर आप चाहते हो कि मैं नहीं आऊँ, आप वो OTP हमारे साथ शेयर कर लो. We are so scared. What do we do? Where do we put a limit to this? Because certain things the smartphone is becoming a big problem for everyone, I guess.
It's a necessity and a problem as well as, technology is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Anup, Nilokma Datta, because you've been dealing with senior citizens and training them, what she says is obviously a practical problem. I mean, most all of us see that in our social circle, and then suddenly it's difficult to train that senior citizen of the kind of problems that they have. When you train these people, do you have this word of caution for the senior citizens as to these are the do's and these are the don'ts that they must follow as well?
See, I'll still continue with my original line of argument that you're expecting too much from a segment of population who are very new to this technology. So when we are communicating with them and trying to befriend them with this technology, I can't give them a proviso first of all, that be careful, you may get conned. The moment I say that, those who are taking a step forward will step back and say, sorry, I'm not interested.
But then what they are suggesting is awareness is the only way to stop it.
No, 1 minute, just let me. It's very well to say create awareness. But I want them to go back home, all these people who are saying awareness, and then look at the messages you are giving. What are these very, very, banal and very, very broad messages? Don't share your OTP, don't share your this. Is that how you're getting conned? Is that really how you're getting conned these days? Just look at this case that she's reporting. It's an OTP number from a genuine thing that she has been doing ever since. So her father is very sure that this is the right one. So when if you're saying that training is the best way forward, then please look at your training manuals and look at the messages you're giving them and where you're giving it to them. These are very broad messages. Don't lie. Hard work to achieve success. We all know that.
Very sorry to use this rude term. There is sort of a financial discrimination which is happening on the part of banks. You see any premium debit or credit card holder, अगर आपका जैसे आप चेन्नई से और आपने यूएस में 50-60 हज़ार का ट्रांजैक्शन किया, you automatically get a call, sir, this is a confirmation call, have you done that transaction? And I say yes, they approve, otherwise they withhold the money. You know why? Because they know if that transaction happens, I'll come after them and get my money back and they'll have to return. They very well know that a 10,000 guy, a farmer or someone will not, Jan Dhan account guy will not come to them, and that is why they cannot give them a confirmation call. My idea is that you have AI available. If you could detect that there is an abnormality in my transaction, any transaction which is happening from any poor guy, on the ratio of his bank account. So 1 lakh account holder, if there's a transaction of 5,000 rupees, give him a confirmation call. If you can do it for me, you can do it for them. All it will cost is 1 rupee. Second, why not tell these people that, boss, you have an online banking enabled, would you like to cap it? अगर आपका 5 लाख account है, even if it is 50 million, who cares? You tell them, sir, how much online transfer should we allow in your bank account? 10,000, 20,000, 25,000, make it mandatory.
Systems are in place.
Yes, systems are in place.
SMS.
Where are we lagging
alignment.
behind?
It is for selective people. It is for rich people, premium account holders like me, not for them.
Jitin, let him answer. Let him answer. Let him answer. Let him
It is
answer.
not
sir.
like this.
In PNB, I have an account which has limits for each of my beneficiaries which I have. There's a limit to the amount and there's a limit to the number of transactions also. So once having done one transaction, I find I have to do another one. I change those transaction levels to increase of this thing, and then I'm getting vulnerable again. You see,
Maybe
Some
it's
of the
time to
banks
just
do
keep
have the
revising
checks.
these
If
limits.
you are not
Mr. Gupta?
informed, in fact, in the case of the checks you have issued, that there are a system in the bank while paying the check online in the system, they call the drawer. That have you issued this check, number one. Number two, SMS align. Basically, you get the SMS on your mobile phone that some transaction has been made through your credit card or through your account. All systems are in place. At the beginning, basically, these things are being given to the customer. While they open an account, while they issue the credit cards, so many other things. But the problems, what the issue has been raised, this is with the wallet payment banks. Wallet payments bank, the virtual bank. There is no physical bank. You can't go to the Airtel payment bank. You can't reach to the Jio payment bank. You can't reach to the Paytm payment
So,
bank.
Mr. Gupta, do the banks have no authority over whether the e-wallet should retain personal information of the consumers or not? Shouldn't the bank be acting tough on them? Once you've done a transaction on a UPI or maybe, one of these apps, and once your transaction is complete, your information doesn't get saved there. So do the banks have no authority over this?
No, look, other apps come, there is a physical banks, basically public sector bank, private banks, cooperative banks. These are the places, these are the shops where you do the banking, and moreover, you go and open an account. But the other app-based banks, there is no person where you can contact, and moreover, giving the KYC and the information on those apps-based banking channels, we do not know how safe it is. That we have to first find out. Basically, in the case of your account, the Paytm, you did some transaction because Paytm is they are authorized to open a Paytm bank, and they were authorized to open the accounts where the limit was up to 1 lakh. Automatically, account has been opened. So how the normal bankers are responsible for this thing?
थोड़ा सा
So
suggestion है.
in that
Just one line
context, I think
suggestion.
what Jitin is suggesting is
Yes.
the bank should either keep a cap on the amount
Yes.
or maybe limit these transactions.
Just one
or
small
maybe-
suggestion.
Sure,
Like,
sure, Jitin.
this one from ICICI Bank, I use it. The 6161 is something is the OTP for your internet transaction. Please don't share with anyone. I'm sure you could add one more line. This is to pay, not to receive. 80% fraud यही होता है कि सर हम आपको पैसा भेज रहे हैं या लिंक कर रहे हैं and you don't know you are actually paying the money. Some people tell, sir, I want to transfer you 100 rupees, you'll receive an OTP, and they end up taking 5,000 back. So banks could write that this OTP is for paying the money, linking the account for what? Simply saying that this is an OTP for your transaction doesn't help. So small little things you could improve.
The entire message.
Yeah.
Nobody would read the entire message. You see, everybody is in such a great hurry. Like in my case only, in that club factory, I could never imagine that my app could have been hacked like this.
And perhaps, as Anuradha pointed out,
it's
you've
in
been doing it on a
iPhones-
daily basis.
iPhones-
Suddenly, you wouldn't start doubting it. As she also said, it was a routine affair. Every month, you are paying the Airtel
all
bill.
OTP frauds are through genuine channels. A fraudulent OTP will not work. In order to complete the transaction, every OTP has to be genuine. It will all come from genuine banks. That's the whole beauty of this entire scam. Scam. कि सब seriously आ रहा है.
Mr. Ravindra Gupta, in that context, because we are talking about OTP frauds, shouldn't the OTP be location based or maybe purpose based? So maybe you just add what he said, OTP for so and so purpose. Can the banks do that? Is it possible?
No. Basically, when a SMS or OTP appears, in that case, the beneficiary name appears that you have done some transaction to Amazon
No,
or some.
sir, that's not happening. So when you are giving the
There are
OTP,
some banks who send it. There are others who do not. If I
This
make
can
a
be a
payment on, say,
rule by-
Standard Chartered credit card, it comes to me that this amount is being debited. But if I am doing it for HDFC probably, then it will come, this amount is being used for making a payment at this place. So that is how this should be made mandatory.
Uniformly,
This should be
universally
made
should be done for
mandatory
all.
probably.
Yes.
and I think perhaps
That is really-
as
hardly 2
the
to 3
largest
minutes,
public
3
sector bank,
seconds.
I think you should take the lead and maybe then RBI can come up with this rule so that it applies to all banks uniformly. On top, we're also being joined by some young girls, and because we've been largely hearing it firsthand from the senior citizens about their experiences, let them also talk about what they have seen in their households. How difficult is it to, teach your grandparents about technology? What are the kind of problems that they face when it comes to using technology? Are they afraid? Are they excited about it?
Last year this happened with my mother. She received a call from an unknown number, and the person on the other end, he said that your bank account would be sealed, please share this OTP. So she was aware about that. So she didn't share, and she started inquiring that person that what is your name, from where you are, and he disconnected the call. So after that, she contacted the cyber cell. The cyber cell personnel responded that your problem is not serious, you haven't been robbed, so nothing can be done, and he didn't even ask for the fraudulence number, and the call was disconnected. So such an irresponsible response from cyber cell, and how can you say that you are our support system?
Okay, Mr. Aditya Gautam, would you like to take on that question?
Okay, no, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry for
if
putting you in a
that's-
fix, but these are practical problems which we are facing every day. Yeah.
Situations also nobody knows about it, how to handle it also, because I faced it myself.
No, ma'am, I really apologize to anyone who has had such an experience. However, I assure you that regularly all our senior officers, they make it a task to ensure that all the staff are regularly sensitized on how to deal with various sections of the society, especially the more vulnerable sections. So there might be, I'm not denying what you're saying, you might have had an unpleasant experience. However, in the majority of the cases, we take it very, very seriously. At least, that's what I can tell you from my end. Of course, there are, we have to sort cases on the basis of, the gravity of the offense. Of course, we have to do that. However, it doesn't mean that any of your concerns are not taken seriously.
I think Mr. Ashok now wants to respond to that. Yes, please, sir, go ahead.
There are a lot of discussions is there about the OTP. First thing, people should be told that any transactions when you are initiating from your mobile or from a laptop and OTP is asked for, then that is generally there should be a problem. Every case which have been reported today where transactions were not initiated by you got a call asking for OTP. So when I am trying to do NFT or something that, and I ask for OTP, that is I have initiated the transaction. Whatever the fraud has happened, you got a call from somebody else asking for OTP. You have not initiated the call. You have not gone to the bank's number, asked for IVR. All these things are there. But you have been, first principle of control, any individual must follow that when you have not initiated the transaction, then you must not share OTP with anybody, whoever calls you. Even if it says, I'm calling for RBI governor, you should not share the OTP.
Okay. Mr. Ashok Nag, before I wrap up the program, one very quick question that I wanted to ask you is, obviously we know there are internal leakages happening from the banks and as well. Should the RBI come up with a mechanism to, effectively check this? And maybe there are proposals from experts that there can be dummy data which can help prevent internal leakages in banks?
What do you mean by internal leakages here?
The personal information of the customers is being leaked to conmen. So perhaps maybe some bank officials, somebody down the ranks for some quick bucks, they are actually selling data to the conmen.
Exactly. See, point is that, there are, of course, the mobile numbers are usually getting sold in the market very often. And these numbers are being obtained by various agencies, not only the banks. But what is important for the RBI has issued a circular for every type of banks and all the commercial banks that what should be the cyber security. The important point is that cyber security, the framework which has been guideline has been given by RBI. This implementation is an issue because what is required for the cyber security, that it is a kind of a what we call generally bank on operational risk. You have to identify what is the possible risk, then you have to identify the control. Now control here is that, for example, if one of the control is, of course, that you keep your password, if you keep your certain KYC information encrypted, and if it's a very hard encrypted, it is very difficult for somebody else, even if they hack you, getting the encrypted data to decrypt is not so easy. Second thing is that what is the banks has to do, and which is not being done by any banks, because it requires expertise, it requires a lot of expenditure, that you should have your own bunch of ethical hackers and go on trying to hack your system and identify the vulnerabilities regularly. A continuous surveillance is one of the feature of the guideline issued by RBI. Now, these kind of things, easy to say, but implementation requires cost, For example, people are asking that why you are not getting a call when there is a transfer 50,000, because if every transfer, millions of transfer taking place. If every transfer I have to give a call, the system will be overloaded. In fact, most of the small transactions will not go through.
Okay.
So you must have a certain kind of you cannot ask for something that you do everywhere, and you cannot have a CCTV camera for surveillance for every nook and corner of every state. It is not feasible.
Okay,
there
that's
has
not
to be
feasible
certain kind
for the larger population. Maybe, Mr. Gupta, that can be done for the vulnerable population, maybe the senior citizens who, of course, we know are dwindling between technology and, of course, the old age problems. They do not know about these problems of implementation. So maybe you can ask the younger generation to be aware, and if they leak out the OTP, the onus lies on them. But for the vulnerable section, there can be a special cell that takes care of such things?
First of all, we must know, I got some OTP that had I initiated this action 10 minutes back, 5 minutes back, something has come, that safety saves. At least I must apply my mind that what I am going to do.
Maybe there's something can be devised in such a way that the mobile numbers are not visible to a person. It is there in the system but not visible.
Okay, let's go.
And can be extracted only by some other means rather than by an individual like that.
इतने लोगों का डिस्कशन से पता लगा है कि लोगों की कोई सुनवाई नहीं होती है. मैं पूछना चाह रहा हूँ कि आपके एवरेज प्रॉब्लम सॉर्ट आउट करने की साल में कितनी एवरेज है? Have you any data?
सर बोल सकते हैं, पर आप
average
इस बात का
basis,
ध्यान
monthly
रखिए,
और
अक्रॉस द
yearly.
वर्ल्ड 100 में से 1000 में से 5% केस इन्वेस्टिगेट हो पाते हैं और 1% को भी प्रोसिक्यूशन नहीं होता. बट दिस इज द ग्लोबल एवरेज, बिकॉज साइबर के अंदर फ्रॉड एक बार होने के बाद द क्रिमिनल आर 99% टाइम सिटिंग अक्रॉस आउटसाइड इंडिया. सो इन्वेस्टिगेशन इज लाइक वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट, एंड इवन इफ इन्वेस्टिगेट द conviction rate is not even 1%. That is why the prevention is the better cure, awareness and this control mechanisms of limiting transactions and all those things. ये global average है. Even in US it is not even 1%.
4-5 महीने की पहले की बात है कि मेरे बेटे के अकाउंट में से, वो मोस्टली रात को साइलेंट करके सोता है अपने मोबाइल को, तो बाई चांस उसका खुला रह गया. सुबह 7 और 8 के बीच में उसके मोबाइल पे टिक टिक की आवाज़ें आई 8 बार. तो उसने एकदम खोला तो उसका 80,000 रुपया जा चुका था. उसने उस समय बंद किया, बैंक को फ़ोन किया, उसका 1 हफ्ते के अंदर अंदर पैसे वापस आ गए. उन्होंने बोला आप चिंता नहीं करो, ये हमारी गलती है, ये गए हैं क्या पैसे.
Exactly. So there are, you know, there are mixed experiences.
जिस तरह
that
से
people
मैम आपने
have.
अभी अपना एक्सपीरियंस शेयर किया, मैं उसी की बात कर रहा था. अवेयरनेस और अवेयरनेस के साथ जिस तरह के सतर्कता आती है. मैम वेरी क्विकली आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर अ वेरी स्मॉल इंसिडेंट. आज से करीब 13 साल पहले आई वाज वर्किंग विद अ सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी इन नोएडा, एंड वन मॉर्निंग आई गेट अ कॉल फ्रॉम माय फादर एंड ही टेल्स मी, बेटा काम वाम करने की ज़रूरत नहीं, अब वापस आ जाओ घर. सो आई वाज लाइक, आई डोंट नो व्हाट हैपेंड, एंड आई गो बैक होम, आई फ्लाई बैक टू Ranchi. And he was very happy, ecstatic, and he shows me one message, one mail that he had gotten, and that mail was from Prince of Nigeria, claiming that he had won a lottery of 6,50,000 Great British pounds. And I like to believe that my father was a smart man. Still, he was about to fall prey to that. Today, none of us would. It's because there has been this awareness. People now know that these scams, these are actually scams. People claiming that you have won lotteries. 2 चीज़ें कहना चाहूँगा जो भी हमारे व्यूअर्स भी हैं अभी उनसे. पहला, किसी भी तरह की अनसॉलिसिटेड मेल्स, मैसेजेस जो आपने नहीं मांगी है किसी से, वो अगर किसी तरह की इन्फॉर्मेशन, कोई मेल मैसेज आपके पास आता है, प्लीज़ उसको इग्नोर करें.
स्पेशली अगर वो अर्जेंट शो कर रहे हो तो.
मैम कई तरह से होते हैं, ईमेल स्पूफ होती हैं, कॉल्स भी स्पूफ होती हैं, सो वी हैव टू इग्नोर दैट. सेकेंडली, ट्रीट साइबर स्पेस द वे यू ट्रीट रियल वर्ल्ड. आज अगर हमारे घर के दरवाजे पे कोई नॉक करके बोलता है कि मैं SBI से हूँ और मुझे आप 1,000 रुपये दीजिए वरना आपका अकाउंट ब्लॉक हो जाएगा, या मैं Paytm से, हम उसे पैसे नहीं देंगे, बिकॉज वी नो कि ऐसा नहीं होता है. साइबर स्पेस ऑल्सो ऑपरेट्स इन द सेम मैनर.
बिल्कुल,
वी हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी केयरफुल.
True. So, as you know, all of us have been discussing over the course of 1 hour, cyber crimes against especially the elderly is a matter of grave concern, and protecting them against this growing type of crime requires a collective, concerted effort, as Anupma Datta pointed out earlier in the program, at different levels of society, as well as the government. Of course, the banks have to be more and more accountable. The first step, of course, is digital education and awareness, as Jitin Jain pointed out earlier. And the next is reporting these crimes when they occur so that the law enforcement agencies can address the matter and prevent someone else from being conned. In addition to the financial loss caused by cybercrimes, victims often experience psychological distress and fear of using technology as a result, as ma'am sitting next to me pointed out. In fear of being conned, she stopped using all of these payment apps, cyber payments and things like that. So this is another area that requires focus and must be dealt with sensitively by all of us. That's it from us this week on The Pulse, and thank you to all our distinguished panelists. Mr. Ashok Nag as well, thank you for taking out time and joining us through Skype on the program today. Thank you to our beautiful audience for sharing their personal stories. We'll see you same time next week with another topic and, of course, a different set of panelists. You can also watch our program online on YouTube and Twitter. And don't forget to send your feedback and suggestions about our program. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.